Good morning. This is Wednesday, September 20th. I am here for episode 9 of the ADHD podcast. This is the ADHD's guide to fantasy sports. This is essentially a glorified audio journal for my fantasy teams for the week. Baseball is finally ended, more or less. I've been knocked out of all the playoffs that I've been in or have missed the playoffs, so I won't even make the championship game this year. So, the way I finished on Yahoo is that big 20-man team in the Joe Rogan Fantasy League. I finished 19th, which is fine. I have a tendency to focus on either hitting or pitching and cannot seem to catch up because it's 20 men. It was harder for me to get a hold of that until it was too late. So all the young pitchers had already gotten snapped up and stashed on the benches of teams, which is fine. That is a tough league I use to figure out how to play the rest of my leagues. That's essentially, okay, I could not get this player here. That means I need to be just a little bit faster in my other leagues, picking up those players. That's fine. There's the Europe MLB 23 team. I finished third in that league because I won 7-6 in the third place game. That's all right. That's a startup dynasty league for a bunch of people that I know in a hockey league, so that's why it's Europe MLB, because most of them are like in Sweden or Slovakia or something. Third place, not too bad. First year in the league, I finished 10-9 in the regular season. I think I went in as like a number 5 seed in the playoffs or something like that. Hardball Dynasty League, I finished 12th out of 16 in that league. I'm cool with that because I finished 15th out of 16 last year. I'm slowly building up a solid core in that one. In my year 6 Dynasty Keeper, man, this one was fun. This one is a 20-man team, and I finished 11th in my first year with a team that was essentially 15th place last year. I'm going to try and flip Paul Goldschmidt on this team because he is getting up there in age, and I need to get some value for him. I got him to play for this year, and I moved from the 2nd pick down to the 6th pick. So I was still able to get Kodai Senga in this draft in the first round, but I did give up on Drew Jones, which is okay. Drew Jones does not look too impressive in his first year this year. That he's actually looked pretty weak, which is kind of like his dad. His dad had a couple really, really impressive years, but otherwise his dad hit below 250 and was just like a defensive replacement guy, which is not bad. He was very awesome to watch for the Braves back in the day. Cooperstown 16. This is a new league that I started up this year with some guys I knew from a basketball league. These are I'm in the consolation bracket right now, which I totally forgot was still going on. I thought it ended last round. I'm playing for 5th place right now, but it's not looking too good. I'm 9-3 at the moment, so that's fine. That one's pretty done out. There's not really a whole bunch that I can do here. Everything's pretty set. Can't wait for the off season there. But I finished 2nd in the regular season, flamed out in the first round, and then I couldn't play in the 2nd round because I was off on a cruise, so I wasn't able to make those transactions work. I've got the small version of that league where you're only going to keep 3 at most. I finished 4th in the regular season in that league, and right now I am battling for 5th place also in there. I'm going to hit 6th place. I'm down a game, and there's not really a whole bunch that my team can do the rest of the week. Players are injured. There's just not a whole bunch I can do right there. But I'm not too worried about that. 6th place is 6th place, and it's not really going to mess me up. Last but not least, I have Dumb and Dumber, the one that I railed on constantly in the start of my podcast. I'm in 7th place there. And this was a very weird kind of year. Like, there was that back and forth about my team versus another team. I might just tell them no thanks for next year. I might have overextended myself by one team in the dynasty because it's 10 team, but it's deep. There's all kinds of quality pitchers on my team, but I can't seem to get everything else right, and I might go through it with it next year and then give up on it, but we'll see what happens. So that's not too bad for this year. So that's 7 out of 10, 12 out of 16, 11 out of 20. 11 out of 20 is not bad, especially for a team that was 19 out of 20 the previous year. 19 out of 20 in that Joe Rogan League, and then the 4 out of 12 in the small keep, 2 out of 16. Oh, it's still going to be like 6 and 6, but those finishes will round off here in a second. My football teams this year. Oh wait, no, I got one more baseball team. That Dynasty one. I got a teacher that I knew in high school that allowed me into a Dynasty league of theirs, and I'm liking this league a lot. It's a lot of fun. Man, there's so many hard decisions on this team because everyone has done so well. I essentially need to consolidate value at the end of every season. So I need to take my guys and then try and flip them for other players. If I can get a decent young player to keep, that's awesome. Unfortunately, I really like all my players. I think I have a 10th player that I would like to keep. But the unfortunate part about that, actually, I have 11 players I'd like to keep, but one of them I'm going to go and flip. And the question is just, who do I take and who do I leave? Because on the whole, they did well, but they all crapped out at the same time toward the end of the season. So I'm in effectively the consolation bracket, and I'm going to finish at quote-unquote 7th place, which is fine. And my team was just on the edge because I ball out on pitching. This is a league that I can crush on pitching. Now, like, I was tied for first in save holds. I was first in whip, first in ERA, first in wins, first in quality starts, and I was second in strikeouts. I was close to third, but first place had a good 60 strikeout lead over me. Let's see, who did they have? They had Giolito and Keller and Cease. I don't know, they must have really rotated their guys a lot. Because I see 2 guys close to 200 and a third one close. My team had... I thought I had like 4 guys. Yeah, see, I've got 1 over 200, another one real close. Yeah, all my other guys are not really that impressive, to be honest. So, yeah, I must have played for the quality start angle and not the strikeout angle toward the back end of the season. But that's fine. Losing 70 strikeouts out of 1,300 during the year is not a bad percentage. But I've got all these players to worry about. One guy I wanted to keep, Masataka Yoshida, I might not keep this year. I might keep my catcher, Yanir Diaz, because you can't find catchers anymore that are going to hit above, like, they're not going to hit above 250 and have 20 plus home runs. Like, this mother went 48, 23, 59 with a 286 and an 861. And an 861 might be the more impressive part, because usually when you hit 23 home runs, your OPS is high, but you counteract that with a low walk rate. Well, this mother has decided that, good lord, is it really that bad? On the year, he has 11 walks, but only in the last month he's got 5 of them. So this guy's really figured out how to play. And the neat thing is they're DHing him a lot because he's not good defensively at catcher. That's Martin Maldonado. And Maldonado is terrible offensively, but he can call a good game and he can play defense wonderfully. So Yanir Diaz has been a DH. The question is, will they let Diaz keep that catcher eligibility next year? If that's the case, then heck, I'm set at catcher then. I'm going to keep a catcher. I've got Spencer Steer, who's third, first, second, and outfield. We'll see how long those keep next year. I got Luis Arraez at first, second, DH. We'll see how long that keeps. And then I've got Rafael Devers, who had some issues this year. Like, he's batting 277 and 876, but this guy is good enough to bat 290, 900 plus. And that he's only at 89, 33, 98 with 4 stolen bases. And this guy should be a perennial. I mean, his home run mark is definitely toward his career top. His career best was 38 2 years ago in 2021. But this is a guy, he's broken 100 runs twice, he's broken 100 RBIs twice. So, I mean, this is a good but not great season. Well, this is not his 2019 season, but this is not his 2021 either. This is still a good, solid season. Better than... I don't know. I got a question. So, when doing baseball, I have a tendency to rotate between categories that I find important. I tend to focus on average and OBP because I want players that score a lot of runs. I also have a tendency to focus on home run hitters that don't do either of them because I focus so much on the pitching at first that I'm trying to play catch up on the hitting. Or my early hits miss, and therefore that's a double mark against me. I miss on pitching, and then I have to deal with back-end hitting, which is kind of interesting. So, I gotta keep Devers, because his season's averages are 75, 25, 79, because 2020 screwed that up in his rookie year in 2017. He only played 58 games. So those two skew his season averages. But if you prorate that out to 162 games, that's still pretty close to 90, 30, 90 with a 282 average, which I will take. I will take that consistency each and every year. Especially because effectively my pitchers rate 1, 2, 3, 4 in the rounds in that, so he can be either like a 4th or 5th round equivalent keeper. This is a keep 9 league. It's not a draft pick per not a draft pick round per keeper kind of league, where you're like, well, I drafted you in the second, I need to draft you in the second next year, or in the first next year, or whatever. But this is just straight up. You have 9 keepers, that's 1 through 9. If you have 5 keepers, you have 1 through 5. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna set with that. I'm gonna take Yoshida off, and then just gamble that I can get him back, because he was kind of disappointing. Like, he started out very hot this year, and I should have moved him. That's my fault. I should have moved him, but I saw 285 and hovering close to 800 OPS. But this mother would like go on a tear where he's hitting 340 and 900 plus for like a month. So, and then I've got guys on the back end, just random prospects sprinkled everywhere. Guys that didn't live up to their hype. The only thing I have to sit and really worry about is where Max Muncy is going to go. Because he just had a year, and we're still, 2 weeks away from the season ending. He goes 88, 35, 102. That's 88 runs, 35 home runs, 132 RBIs. But he only hit 210 and 820. That 210 is buoyed by the fact in the last 30 days, He's hit 274 and 897, which means his marks are 26-24. And if I can get Max Muncy hitting at 220, he's a guaranteed keep option. The question is, who do I not keep? I've got Marcus Stroman that's going to get thrown back in the pile because I don't trust him, even though he just turned in a top 50 pitching year. They brought him back and he's been pitching out of the bullpen because apparently his arm just will not hold up again. I've got Logan Webb, Merrill Kelly, Jesus Luzardo, Garrett Cole, Framber Valdez. Of those pitchers, I can probably let Kelly go because his ERA is the highest on the season. It's a 3.45. I mean, Luzardo's got a 3.84, but Luzardo's a pitcher whose ratios are so out of fucking whack. Like, he's finally got his ERA under 4, and I've been waiting for 3 years for that shit to happen. He's striking out people at a phenomenal rate. He's got 194 and 166 compared to Kelly's 172 and 159. That's a tough call between Kelly and Luzardo, to be honest. So I might keep Muncy and hold Kelly, or let Kelly go. Kelly was drafted in the 20th round this last year, but that's before he came back out and blew everyone away. But conversely, Max Muncy was drafted in the 10th round, which means he was one of the first guys drafted this year, because I think there were a couple guys that didn't take 9 players. So maybe at most 10 people got drafted before him. 15 tops. So he was one of the first guys selected. So I might, because of Kelly's age, roll the dice on Muncy as a keeper, and then see about coming back and picking up Kelly at the top of it, because I think I finally have a solid hitting base. You got a catcher that hits 23 home runs, 286 and 861. You've got a 25-year-old rookie for Cincy that can play all around, hits 69, 22, 82, and 15 stolen bases. That's a 15-15 guy. I want to see that 269 go up toward 280, but he's got an 816 OPS, so I can live with it. Luis Oroyas, 10 home runs, of which 4 have come in the last month. What is that? 5 have come in the last month. But he's also an average guy, so he's hitting 354 with an 865 OPS, because he just doesn't hit home runs, of which I saw 2 of them in person. I got Rafael Devers that's going to hold down the Keystone. Yeah, I think I got to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I've got to hold 5 hitters this year. And I'm going to hold 4 pitchers. And then I will just draft my pitchers extremely well. Normally I keep 5, even 6 pitchers, because I want to lock down all my stats. So Webb, Cole, and Valdez are locks. Kelly is a maybe. Luzardo is I kind of have to, because Luzardo's going to get picked by somebody if I don't. Luzardo got drafted in the 12th round, and I had to trade Zach Wheeler and Brandon Marsh for him, which kind of sucks, because Wheeler I could have flipped for more value, but I got what I could. So that's how my baseball has ended for the year. I hope to be back tomorrow morning with another podcast about how my football teams are doing. That'll give us a good run up to our Thursday night game, and we'll see what happens. Thank you very much, and have a good one.